This is Ian Desher, Digital Marketing Specialist from Pivot Group, talking to you. I want to remind you as we begin today, as we sort of move into our webinar that's going to be about social media tracking, that if you have any questions, of course you can ask those by using your GoToWebinar control panel to do that. First, before we get into the focus topic on social media tracking, let's talk about the news. And this time around, all of the news has to do with deals sites for one reason or another. So let's jump into that. First of all, Facebook announced close to a couple of weeks ago now that it is getting out of the daily deals business. It tested its deals program for about 4 months, and Facebook is now bowing out, letting other companies like Groupon and LivingSocial take the market. So it's sort of a big move. Facebook just sort of realized, you know, this isn't where we want to put our energy right now. So they decided to give up on the deals plan. And then just a couple days later, Yelp announced that it was going to be not completely ending, but slowing way down its deals program. Yelp, of course, is the popular site that allows people to write reviews of local businesses, and so they had a program that had begun in July 2010. So just a little over a year later, they're deciding, you know, this is not going as well as we'd hoped. And then, by contrast, Google has decided to sort of step up its efforts with Google Offers, and this screenshot that you're looking at today is actually from how Google appeared to users in New York City at one point. And Google is known for having generally an immaculate homepage where they don't allow you know, just anything to appear. But here was this line down here right below the search about their Google offer of the day. And what they did was to show this only on the screens of people who were visiting Google from an IP address that was located within New York City. So it was using the IP address to track geographically where they were from, and then to say, okay, this person might be looking for a deal in this location. So this is a move. I don't know how often we'll see this. Again, this is not something that Google has done a lot, using that space down there. Sometimes they've done it in the past for charitable giving and things like that. This is the first time they've done it with a Google offer. So it does look like they are sort of taking their deals program and standing behind it and really hoping to promote it further. And then this was, let's see, somebody is saying that they lost sound to the webinar. Is anybody else having that problem? If you can write and just let me know if you've got the sound okay. Okay, so it looks like a couple others are saying that they're okay. Hopefully the sound will come back. Okay, so anyway, this was an interesting thing that happened. Groupon and LivingSocial. I received these emails on September 4th and September 5th, respectively. So I got the Groupon for Ben & Jerry's on September 4th, and the Groupon and the LivingSocial for Ben & Jerry's on September 5th. It's the exact same offers that are being, you know, that are being shown here that the companies are offering. The only difference is the store locations. The Groupon was for certain Ben & Jerry's stores around Portland, and then the LivingSocial was for different stores around Portland. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. I don't think there was a national Ben & Jerry's Groupon or LivingSocial on either of these days, and so this may have just been sort of an interesting coincidence. But I did find it fascinating that both companies were running these deals, you know, almost, well, I mean, not almost, absolutely simultaneously. It was just sort of an interesting thing. And that leads me to this next graph that was on Mashable. And this was showing that Groupon's traffic has really sort of sloughed off a little bit in the last few months as LivingSocial continues to steadily rise. And Mashable admitted that these statistics may not, and numbers may not be exactly right, but if they are, it could show that LivingSocial is starting to edge out Groupon in terms of the deals world. So that's a bunch of news about deals. I still think that for many small and medium-sized businesses, doing a deal is something that requires a lot of evaluation and careful thought, but it's something that very well could be worth your time, particularly if you have a plan for following up. So just some thoughts there on deals. And now into the focus, straight talk on social media tracking. First, I just wanted to talk about why this is an important thing to be talking about. The return on investment of social media is sort of notoriously hard to calculate. It's always difficult to difficult to say exactly what return on investment you're getting unless you're running a campaign that is solely focused towards social media, and if you're willing to experiment in that way, then you can have a better idea. But what social media tracking allows you to do, and what I'm going to do in this section, is basically show you 5 different free websites that are out there that are all really good tools for tracking your social media and seeing how people are talking about you. What that can do is at least start to give you a sense of the buzz that's being generated about your company, about your products, how much people are talking about it, what your strength is, and that sort of thing. And so it does start to get at some of that return on investment, if not in precise figures, at least in terms of general trends. So the first tool that I want to talk about today is called HowSociable.com. And what I thought I would do in this webinar is, in addition to just showing you the PowerPoint, maybe actually step outside the bounds of PowerPoint today and show you these websites as they actually operate on the internet. So I'll be doing that in just a second. First of all, let me describe what HowSociable is. Basically, what you do is you put in a company name or product name, basically any word or phrase you want to, and it gives you a score of just how visible that particular product or company or website is. Now, this screen that's showing here is for one of our clients, and you can see that what is being tracked here is many different social media sites. So there's Dig, there's MySpace, there's StumbleUpon, there's Reddit and Facebook and YouTube, LinkedIn, now Twitter and things like that. One important disclaimer I want to say here about Facebook is that HowSociable.com, when it's tracking Facebook mentions, is tracking Facebook mentions across any publicly visible page. So pages like company pages or events that have been made public, things like that. What it's not going to show in that score or register in that score is anything that has been shared on an individual's private page, because no search tool, not even Google, has the ability to search and index those sorts of privatized pages. And then what it does is it ends up giving you a score for how well you're doing in terms of your social media. So let me show you this website here, if we can get this to work. And just for argument's sake, what I'm going to do for I'm just going to show you Amazon.com on all of these, just so you can get a good view of how a really popular company does on these. So I'm here on HowSociable.com, and I put in Amazon.com, click on Measure Visibility, and it then starts calculating all of the scores for all these various services. And of course, it takes a little while to do it, because what it's doing is searching and indexing each one of these sites as it goes. But you can see that as it does it, Amazon's score goes up and up and up as HowSociable.com learns that it's being mentioned in more and more places. So you get the idea of sort of how this works. It can be a really great tool to see not only how much your company is being mentioned across the social stratosphere, but also where it's most popular. Now, some of that's going to be dependent on how big some of these services are. I mean, you know, you're more likely to have a bunch of mentions on Facebook or Twitter than you are on services with much smaller user base. So anyway, but you get the idea for what this does, and I think it's a really helpful tool, and I put this as sort of the #1 tool, if only because I really like the fact that it sort of gives you this ultimate visibility score, and also that it searches so many sites and does so relatively quickly. I mean, even for a big site like Amazon, in the time that it's taken me to show you this, it's gone ahead and indexed it for all these services. So that's how Sociable.com. And the second tool I wanted to show you is Corkbase.com. Corkbase gives you, what you do is you put in a website address and you see all sorts of information about that website. Not only things like where it's hosted and who some of the key players are in the company, but also things like what sort of social comments there are, how much internet traffic it gets, what its social popularity is like. It searches across you know, some of the most popular social media and crowdsourcing sites like Dig and Wikipedia and Twitter and Yahoo Answers, and it also searches into blogs. So again, if we go over to Corkbase really fast, and you enter Amazon.com, and that was actually the example that I was showing on my slide there. But here you can see that was very quick, and it's giving me an overview of the site, which I'm sure is straight from Amazon.com. Key tags, key people in the company, the internet traffic. It says it's extremely high and successfully holding it up. So other websites that I've seen, it says things like fairly low but rising sharply. That was one that I saw yesterday, actually, on one of our websites for one of our clients where we've just redesigned the website. So Corkbase is able to see, hey, you know what? It looks like traffic has been low, but all of a sudden it's shooting way up. And that's because people are coming to look at the new website and using it a lot more now that it's more functional. So this gives you just a good idea of how the internet traffic is doing. It gives you things like overall ranks, numbers of unique visitors, when it was launched, again, where it's hosted, similar sites, but then also things like social comments, where you can track what it's doing on Twitter, what it's doing in the blogs, things like that. Also social popularity, how much it's mentioned across Wikipedia through backlinks, Twitter, in blogs, and in Dig, Yahoo Answers backlinks. And so just a really helpful sort of overall snapshot of you know, of how your website is doing, and also getting into some of the social aspects of that, how much it's being mentioned and linked to and from across various social media sites as well. So that's Corkbase, another, I think, really helpful one for tracking your social media presence.